Good morning and welcome to our first insight here for 2025. Happy New Year. Today I'd like to spend just a few minutes kind of recapping what happened last year in the markets and talk about a few projections we're hearing on our side for 2025. So before I get started, I want to do a quick poll question. Don't do these too often, but the question is, how do you think the US market, or more specifically the S&P 500, performed last year? Do you think it was A, down or negative for the year? Do you think it was B, up between maybe 1 to 10%? C, up 10 to 20%? Or D, do you think it was up over 20%? Well, if you answered the last one, D, up over 20%, you were actually correct. So the S&P 500 was up over 20% now 2 years in a row. A lot went on last year, right, that we could recap when you think back, especially politics and politically. But despite what you hear on the news or the media, the markets ignored a lot of this stuff, and they did very well. Again, you had the S&P 500 up over 20%. However, a couple other sectors, the Dow, only 30 stocks, was up only 13%. International stocks were only up about 5%, and you had bonds bringing up the rear, only up about 1%. This is significant as tech stocks led the upside and international stocks really lagged, the US market. So as you hear us talk a lot about when we get in reviews, its allocation is very, very important and what our team is thinking. So not only how much you have in stocks or equities, but where that is positioned. Are we in the US? Are we international? And our team is here focused specifically on this as we navigate a new administration, potential tariffs going on, we got lowering of interest rates, and really that conservative category like bonds. How are we going to maximize a performance on that, if it's going to perform at all? So I wanted to show a couple charts, right, this month that our team always finds interesting every year as we look back. Now, the first chart here I want to show everyone is where analysts in December of 23 started predicting in 2024 where it would end at 24, right? So kind of where the markets would do. The end of 23, the S&P 500 was 4,769. As you can see, some analysts predicted a downturn of over 10%. The average thought it would be flat, but no one was close to the S&P thinking it would be up 20% and ending at 5,882. Okay, now let's flip forward, 2025. What's analysts looking at now? Well, again, remember, the S&P 500 ended at 5,882. Why it's important? Because this is the question we're getting a lot every year, right? We've got a new administration, Ryan. What's going on? Should we be more conservative? What are you guys thinking? So as you can see, everyone's kind of expecting a good year across the board analyst-wise. But it's something to keep very closely because the markets just don't go up like this. But we're cautiously optimistic. And this is part of the reason, because this is the optimism we're hearing on our side. And we want to continually portray that to you and keep you posted as we navigate the media and another year in the markets for your retirement. I hope this was helpful, as we hear a lot of negative news sometimes in the media, but our team is here to keep you posted on what we're hearing through economists and managers. We look forward to seeing you next month on OakCrest Insight.